Hello everybody, it's me, Riffraff Hornhelm, and I'm back again with another presentation from the Dwarven Vault, and today we have a monster review. Now today's monster review is the Homunculus, which is a really interesting little creature, and I do mean little, that comes to us from the original monster manual for use with basic Dungeons & Dragons and advanced Dungeons & Dragons, or what's typically called 1E today. And the Homunculus is a manufactured creature. Okay, they're really tiny. They're only 18 inches tall. Now, if the homunculus attacks you, it'll do 1 to 3 points of damage if it's successful, but it'll also bite you. And this is a bite that'll put you into a comatose slumber for a number of rounds. And that'll happen if you don't make your save, and it's a save versus magic. Now, these, like I said, are created creatures. They're created generally by a magic user in association with an alchemist. He needs the abilities of an alchemist in order to be able to create the creature. The creature is linked very closely with the magic user. And once created, it is, of course, the link for the magic user. It provides the magic user with the ability to hear and see through the homunculus. And it can be within, I think it's like 480 feet, something like that. And it'll never go further away than that. If for some odd reason it is killed, it immediately does 2 to 20 points worth of damage to the magic user. Part of the reason for that is part of the creation of a homunculus requires a pint of the magic user's blood, along with some special brew that the alchemist puts together, the fluids that are necessary to create the homunculus. And then, of course, some spells get thrown into the mix as well. Those spells include a mending spell, a wizard's eye, and mirror image. And once he casts that upon the alchemical fluid that's been provided, which is in the hundreds of gold pieces cost, then they're able to actually create the homunculus. And the homunculus is then bound to that magic user. It's an interesting little creature that can provide a fair amount of additional information for the magic user. And to be honest, it's not as expensive or difficult to create or summon as some of the other small familiars that are typically used by magic users, like a quasit or something like that. So really, the homunculus is kind of a cool little creature, and definitely has some added value for a magic user. And really, if you can afford to do this, this is a good first step. Yeah, it sucks if it gets killed because it'll do damage to you, and if you're a magic user, 2 to 20 hit points is nothing to sneeze at if you're a magic user in 1E. But still, could be a lot worse. So, an interesting character, and of course, as dwarves, have we run across them? I've heard of dwarven magic users who have created homunculuses before. I've heard also that they're annoying. That's all I really know. And asking around, people just seem to know that they're annoying, but they don't know very much about them. Of course, in the gaming world, I'm sure it's a bit different. So we, of course, went out to the greater Hornhelm community and talked to the DMs and the players and said, hey, what do you think of the homunculus? Well, the DMs came back and said that this was a really good little creature. Even though it's only 2 hit dice, they ranked it at about a 2.5 to a 3 because of how useful they were, and frankly, not that difficult to acquire. The spells required, the cost required, and the time required was made it one of the easiest things to create to become an ally to the magic user. Not bad. Players felt pretty much the same way. They ranked these as about a 2 to a 3 and said that they were really useful because it didn't cost an arm and a leg, and was a lot easier to procure than some of the other options. if you have to create one and you didn't have any luck with a find familiar spell or something like that, it's a pretty good option, to be honest. The homunculus is a very useful set of eyes and ears for a magic user, and the distance that they're able to travel and still stay within touch with the magic user is very useful, especially in like underground settings or city dwellings, towns, villages. This is a very useful little creature. So pretty cool. If you've never used one before as a magic user and you're playing in a AD&D 1E campaign, you may consider it. So that, my friends, is the homunculus. We hope you found today's presentation to be interesting, informative, amusing, all that kind of good stuff. If you did, please be so kind as to leave us a like, consider subscribing if you haven't. Definitely drop us a line or share with your friends, but most of all, come back and see us again real soon. We're very grateful for your kind support. Take care, everyone, and remember, dwarves rock!